Hi guys. So, I need to talk to you about something I'm struggling with. Cutting toxic people out of my life. Cutting out people that do nothing but bring negativity and shitty vibes to my life, to my day-to-day life. Now, in the process of cutting out shitty people from my life, I've really had to step back and evaluate things because I've cut off a lot of people in the past while. And I was starting to think that maybe it was me. Maybe I was the toxic person. But I've kind of started to realize that it isn't my fault. And these people were bringing me down. I was doing nothing but adding positivity and happiness to those people's lives, but they were doing nothing but tearing me and bringing me down. Now, the thing about having toxic people in your life is sometimes they're toxic for different reasons. Some people just aren't happy. They don't try to be happy. They don't go out of their way to make others happy. Those people are just miserable. You have the right to cut miserable people off because you cannot handle their sadness. Now, I don't mean if you have a friend that is depressed and they're always at home sad, don't cut that person off. That's not what I'm talking about. That person needs help. That person doesn't know how to reach out. But if you have a friend that is constantly down and on themselves and you do nothing but give them ideas to help, support them, do things to make them happy, and they are still miserable at the end of the day, it's not your problem to make that person happy. Now, there's another kind of toxic person. People that are narcissists. I love narcissists. They're the best. So when somebody is narcissistic, they tend to make the other person feel at fault for their problems. People that are narcissistic tend to do a lot of really shitty things to other people. And when people call them out on their behavior and or tell them how their behavior is affecting them, they tend to turn it around and throw it at the other person. For example, one of my ex-boyfriends, very, very narcissistic, always going out behind my back and doing things, and when I'd question or confront him about it, he'd tell me if I was a better girlfriend, maybe he wouldn't have, maybe if I had paid more attention to him, maybe if I had tried harder. Like, what does that even mean? If a person is going out of their way to make you feel bad about the things they're choosing to do to you, you need to cut them off. Somebody going out and making you feel like you aren't worth it, or making you feel like you're a shitty person when in fact it's them, you don't need those people. You need to walk away from those people. But the thing is when people are narcissistic, it's hard to walk away from them because they're very manipulative. You'll try to walk away and they'll come to you with their problems knowing that you're gonna stop because you still care and you're gonna try to help them. And they'll bit by bit come back to you until they have complete control of you again. And then they revert back to their old behavior, which is, it's shitty because narcissistic people will make you believe that they've changed for you and will make you believe that they're getting better for you when in reality, they're not. They're not getting better for you. They're not getting better for themselves. They're not getting better, period. Narcissistic people don't change. And you can't expect them to change for you. If you are staying in a relationship or a friendship or have contact with some kind of family member and they are narcissistic and they manipulate you and they make you feel like you're at fault for the things they choose to do, don't feel bad for cutting them off. Do not feel bad for walking away from that person. It absolutely tears me up inside because after cutting off so many people recently and realizing how many toxic people I had in my life, I really struggle wanting to go out and find other people and new people to try and trust. And I know I shouldn't blame everybody else for what these people did to me, but it's hard to. It's hard to go out and find friends that I don't think are gonna snake me, or I don't think are gonna sit there and talk about me behind their back, or gonna want me at their every beck and call, and the minute I'm not there, they go snaky on me. Like, I don't want that. And I'm scared that when I go out of my way to be friends with somebody again, that's all that's gonna happen. Now, when it comes to having ex-boyfriends or girlfriends that are like that, it's even more painful and painstaking to walk away, because that person, every chance they can, is going to try and make you feel bad and try to make you come back to them. And when you try to bring up the reason that maybe you aren't with them anymore, they will manipulate you into thinking that you were in the wrong. They will manipulate you into thinking that you deserved how bad they treated you, and that's not fair. Toxic people are toxic people because of how they treat you. One person may be toxic to you, but they might not be toxic to somebody else. Everybody works differently with everybody else's vibes, and weaning out toxic people can be hard, because you'll see how they treat other people and you'll be like, wow, they're really good to all those people, and you'll assume that you're going to get the same behavior in return, and you don't all the time. And it's a hard thing to deal with. When people know that they don't deserve you in their life, they make it even harder for you to walk away. When people know that they aren't good for you, they will make it their mission for you to not leave, because you might be one of the only good things in their life, even though they don't treat you that way. You can give somebody the world and treat them like a queen or a king, and the thing is that to your face, they may be pretty good, but it's the stuff they're doing when you're not around. It's what they're saying to people when you aren't there. It's how they react to things when you aren't going to find out how they reacted. It's situations like that you have to step back and take a minute to think about. Because when you're with somebody who is toxic and they know it, there's a very high possibility you don't know. And that's what makes it so hard for a lot of people to walk away, because everybody around them sees that one person is toxic, but they don't. And trying to convince people that somebody that they love or really care about is toxic is very hard. You cannot convince somebody that is in love with a narcissist that person is narcissistic. You cannot convince somebody who has been best friends with somebody for years that person is toxic. You can't. It takes somebody having their eyes open to the situation for them to want to actually walk away. And I see people all the time tearing down girls that are in bad relationships, tearing down people that are friends with people that talk shit behind their back and say awful things about them. And I'm like, yeah, but the thing is that person doesn't see it that way. We aren't in that person's shoes, so we don't see how good that person treats that other person behind closed doors. And behind closed doors, that might be what's making them hold on to that relationship or that friendship or that family member. Because when nobody else is around, they make you feel 110%. But it's the minute that they actually start acting upon things around other people, or the minute that they say they're going to do something and you ask them if they've done it, they turn around and get mad, because why should they be expected to do something that they said they were going to do, right? Toxic people are hard to walk away from. Narcissistic people, extremely hard to walk away from. Manipulative people, hard to walk away from. I know, I get it, guys. I've been there. But there comes a point when you have to realize you got to put yourself first. When you are waking up every day so down and so sad that you don't want to get out of bed, that you don't want to go out and go to work, that you don't want to talk to any of your friends, you need to maybe realize it's not something you're doing. It's maybe something somebody else is doing to you. And it's a hard thing to see. And sometimes it takes going through a really traumatic or a really chaotic experience for you to finally have your eyes open to it. But if you know that you have somebody that's toxic in your life, if you know that you have somebody that you have that is close to you that isn't good for your mental health, for your spiritual health, you need to walk away from them. You need to get rid of them. And I know it's going to hurt now, but trust me, 2 months down the road, 6 months down the road, you're gonna thank yourself. You're gonna feel so much better. You're going to look at yourself and be like, why didn't I walk away from that person sooner? Why didn't I cut that person off a year ago? And you can't dwindle on the fact that you, I guess we could say, wasted so much time and energy on that person. You need to focus on the fact that you realized that you could have walked away from it, and you did. So, if you got some negativity in your life, or you know that you are negative and bringing somebody else down, you need to change that shit, people. It's just, no. Don't do it. Alrighty, well, hope you guys have a good day, and happy weekend.